A very good afternoon, guys. Welcome to this JEE analysis section, right? YouTube. And I'm Nitin Verma, chemistry faculty at Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. So if you have written your JEE exam, right, in this January session, then I'm sure you've been through the experience. You know now what were your strong parts, what were your weak parts, right? How was your overall experience? What mistakes not to repeat in the April session, in the next exam you write, okay? And what were your strong points? What are the chapters you have to cover more, okay? All right. So this is a detailed analysis of chemistry section, right? Because when you write an exam, then if you have an opportunity to write that exam again, which JEE has now given you, right? So you should remember when you are going to write your exam next, what are the mistakes to avoid, okay? On which portions you have to focus more. Now, yes, it is true, it's very much individual, specific, right? Different students make mistakes in different sections, they have to work hard at different topics, right? But then yes, there is a pattern of the examination about which we will discuss, right? So this is the session 1 detailed analysis of the chemistry section. So moving to the class wise weightage, okay? So you can see here that the number of questions which were asked in each session, right, in each shift on each day from class 11th and class 12th syllabus. So guys, what makes chemistry different from physics and maths is that all the fundamental chapters are in class 11 syllabus, right? For example, mole concept, you guys know that it's an important concept for entire physical chemistry at least. Then you have atomic structure where you study quantum numbers and electronic configuration, you use them throughout chemistry. Then in periodic classification, you study the general properties of the classification of elements, general properties of SPDF block elements, right? And some other chemical properties. In chemical bonding, you study hybridization, VSEPR theory, right? Molecular orbital theory, resonance, dipole moment, Mafiane's rules, covalent character, ionic character. So all these are basically, fundamental topics. Similarly, in states of matter, right, you study gas laws, something related, some properties related to gases. In thermodynamics, you study entropy, enthalpy, Gibbs energy, which we use hundreds of times in chemistry elsewhere. So in what the conclusion of this discussion is that in class 11 there are many chapters which are fundamentals and you have to cover them anyway, even if they ask fewer questions, right? In order to understand chemistry deeply and thoroughly, you need to go through those chapters, okay? So, but in chemistry, as we can see, the classification remains a little bit tilted towards class 12 syllabus, right? In class 12, there are more questions from class 12 section, okay? So, if you are there, guys, watching this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it with your friends, okay? So, we can get started. You can observe that from class 11th, 12 questions were asked, then from class 12, 18 questions, right? Similarly, here the distribution was 1:1. Here again a little more questions from class 12 syllabus. Here also, here also, here also, here also, here also. Here the more number of questions were asked from class 11, but that we can make an exception, right? Here also and 1:1. So the thing is, from in class 11th, I will discuss towards the end of this video what are the chapters you should focus on, what are the topics you should focus on in physical and inorganic chemistry, and what are the reactions you should focus on in organic chemistry. So keep watching till the end of this video, right? So we can see that the majority of questions generally they are asked from class 12th syllabus, okay? Now let us see unit wise weightage. What were the number of questions asked from each unit, right? Then again you can see that physical, organic and organic, there might be a difference of 1, 2, 3 questions, but roughly in JEE you get equal number of questions from each of these 3 segments, right? For example, 10 questions from physical, inorganic and organic each, then one less, one can be, skipped, not much of a difference. Here more questions from inorganic. Now sometimes you may get more questions from inorganic, and that might be because many of those questions are actually related to chemical bonding, right? So many questions they are asked from chemical bonding, so that might be because of this. Then pretty much you can see the ratio remains 1:1:1, right? So a little bit more questions from physical, and then here also the balance is like that, right? So in chemistry, it does not happen that there are very few questions from inorganic or organic or physical, because these are the just main three bodies, right, which comprise chemistry. So in chemistry, guys, what happens, physical, inorganic, organic, all are important, right, all are equally important. Okay, if you skip organic, you might pretty much miss out on 10 out of 30 questions, and so with physical and inorganic. So what happens is, in chemistry, we don't choose the unit, we choose the chapters, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that do not entirely skip one of these, okay, unless that you hate organic, you hate inorganic, or you hate doing numericals, right? Do not skip any unit entirely, but just skip one or two chapters if you are in a situation, right? If you are in a situation that your entire syllabus is not complete and you want to just run through, revise the important topics, then there are some chapters in physical, inorganic, and organic each that you should first complete, and we will discuss them towards the end of this video, so don't worry about that. So this is pretty much the distribution. Physical was approximately 35%, organic 30%, and inorganic was 34%. Okay. Now if you compare it with the last 2 years trends, so you can see that from organic the number of questions never went to below 33, right? Here physical, yes, number went to 32 one time, okay, and here inorganic this time in 2022, right, the number went high. Okay, so what happens, guys, again, this is substantiating that from organic, physical, and inorganic there is not much difference in the number of questions, right? That means if you are preparing chemistry and you are not in a position to cover the entire syllabus, just pick few chapters, the most important ones from organic, inorganic, and physical, that is from each of these segments, right? So all this data, it is just pointing out towards one thing, that in chemistry all three units are individually important, right? So now let us see the chapter wise weightage, right? So you know that in chemistry roughly there are 30 units, 14 in class 11 syllabus as per NCERT curriculum, right, and 16 in the class 12th syllabus. So you can see that from general organic chemistry the maximum number of questions are asked. That is also because in general organic chemistry you cover pretty much all the basics of organic chemistry. So technically you can put any question in general organic chemistry. Either it is based on nomenclature or isomerism or reaction intermediates or electron displacement effects or general reaction mechanisms, things like that, right? Okay. So what happens here is that general organic chemistry maximum number of questions were asked, and yes, this is one of the most unavoidable chapter. You must not skip general organic chemistry, right? Just try to cover as much you can, right? General organic chemistry, just go through the basic nomenclature, right? Go through the basic nomenclature if you want to, not miss out on the names. Then go through the isomerism, right? Go through the isomerism, structural isomerism, tautomerism, stereoisomerism, geometrical isomerism, conformational isomerism. There are questions from that, okay? Then after that, see the carbocations, carbanions, electron displacement effect, resonance, hypoconjugation, aromaticity, right? All these effects will help you understand chemistry. So all these effects you do not skip, even if there is not a direct question from this, but if you understand these concepts like aromaticity, resonance, and hypoconjugation and inductive effect, it will make the rest of the organic chemistry much easier for you. I'm telling you that, right? So from coordination chemistry 20, yes. From inorganic chemistry, you must not skip two chapters, chemical bonding and coordination chemistry. Chemical bonding, again, you may not get so many questions, but it's a fundamental chapter. If you don't know how to draw the shape of a molecule or how to predict if it is polar, non-polar, if it is having covalent character or ionic character, then understanding chemistry will be very difficult. You will be memorizing it, right? So from inorganic chemistry, right, see, if you are watching this video, okay, please make the important notes of important points, right? Chemical bonding and coordination chemistry, these are the two chapters in inorganic chemistry you should cover first. Then S block elements, right? It's a gamble. Sometimes S block elements, few questions are asked, sometimes more questions are asked, right? But yes, it's not a huge chapter, so you can cover it, S block elements. Then D block elements, again not a big chapter, and you can see they are from inorganic chemistry only, right? From solutions, 15 questions were asked. Yes, in solutions there are two main topics, Raoult's law and colligative properties. Don't worry, I'll discuss the important points, important topics towards the end of this video, right? Then chemical kinetics, majority of questions are from first order reactions, right? So if you discuss, if you study first order reaction, that pretty much covers a majority of questions, right? Then from P block, 15 questions were asked, group 15, 16, 17, 18. I will tell you towards the end of the video which topics you are supposed to cover first in P block, right? Some basic concepts of chemistry, 14 questions like concentration terms, stoichiometry, empirical formula, average atomic mass, like that. Structure of atom, again, it's an important chapter, not only for chemistry but also for physics, because you guys know in modern physics you have structure of atom and it's little bit more detail. So structure of atom, 14 questions were asked. I will also tell you what topics to cover from structure of atom, right? Just stay with us. Then from hydrocarbons, 13 questions. Now you can see that hydrocarbons have 13 questions, right? But remember, hydrocarbons cover a lot of reactions from organic chemistry. Those from haloalkanes, those from alcohols, those from aldehydes and ketones, right? Those from amines. So if you cover hydrocarbons nicely, which you must, right? In organic chemistry, the two chapters you must not skip is, one is GOC, General Organic Chemistry, another is hydrocarbons, right? Another is hydrocarbons. So this is something you should not miss. Then from electrochemistry, 13 questions were asked, right? Yes, it will come. Don't worry, right? First let us appear for JEE Main April, right? Okay, student. Yes, I will also discuss that, Sonu. Just keep watching this video. I will also discuss that, right? At what percentile, at what marks, what percentile was obtained, right? And then after we will go through that. So hydrogen, 12 question. Yes, in hydrogen majority of questions are asked from single topic. I will talk about that. Metallurgy, 12 questions. In metallurgy there are some important processes, aldehydes and ketones, an important chapter, right? Then biomolecules and chemistry in everyday life and amines, these are chapters like JEE asks one question from them, right? So if you have time, also try to cover them, biomolecules, chemistry in everyday life, and those kinds of chapters, right? Then these are the chapters, right? Periodic table, 9 questions, thermodynamics 9, chemical equilibrium, redox, right? So these are the chapters which you must not skip, right? P block 13, you can remember this, alcohols, phenols and ethers, right? And then solid state, unfortunately fewer questions were asked, right? For this time, haloalkanes and haloarenes, only 6 questions were asked. But don't think that only 6 questions are asked. Some questions are indirectly related to a topic, okay? Then carboxylic acid 5 and practical organic chemistry 4. Practical organic chemistry is the estimation of elements and the percentage of this, right? Okay, so yes, I am not completed. Yes, so Sonu, just keep watching this video. I'll tell you which chapters and which topics in chemistry to cover, right? First, because now you have barely 2 months left, right? Around 8 weeks you guys have. So what are the topics and what are the chapters to cover now? Okay. So if we compare it with the last 5 years, okay, then this is the distribution. Approximately 6% question were asked from GOC, right? The maximum. And then 6% question were asked from coordination compounds, and 5% from S block elements, 4% from DNF, and 4% from chemical kinetics, right? So you can do one thing. Start doing chapters from the top of this table, right? Finish GOC first, then coordination compound. It is not a big chapter, right? Then S block elements, finish it. It's not a big chapter. They have just group 1 and group 2, right? If you sit in the morning, by the end of the day, you will complete S block elements, right? And then DNF block elements, again not a huge chapter. Chemical kinetics, the easy chapter in physical chemistry, okay? So I hope you guys are able to do that. If you have not covered the entire chapter, then start doing chapters from the top of this table, okay? So then some basic concepts of chemistry, structure of atom. Now you see there's not much difference. So it depends upon your time and your interest, right? And if you want to cover these chapters, okay? So basic concepts of chemistry, structure of atom, hydrocarbons, right? Aldehydes and ketones. So these were the percentage of questions asked in the past 5 years, right? But remember that the chapters which I have mentioned, you must do them, right? You must do them if you want to, score good in chemistry, right? So you can see that although fewer questions are asked from practical, polymers, states of matter, carboxylic acid, solid state, haloalkanes and haloarenes. But remember that in your question paper, one question might come from polymers. So if you have already done polymers, okay, no problem. You might benefit, right, with one question, okay, but otherwise start from the top of this table. Start from the top of this table. Finish these 7 chapters first, okay, then start picking one by one, right? And if you have done any of the chapters from the last of this series, right, if you have done any chapters from the last of the series, remember to revise them, right? In the last few days, remember to revise those chapters if you have already finished them. Then why JEE Main 2023 was different? Now this is something, okay. So normally what happens, guys, until a few years ago, the majority of questions in JEE Main, they were asked like, there is one question, there are 4 options, one of them is correct, right? That's very plain type of question paper, right? JEE Advanced used to be very diversified with different type of question. But over the past few years, particularly when JEE Main started happening online, the diversity in question has changed. Now you will ask, sir, what is the difference, right? What if we get different type of question, right, based on different pattern? Guys, the approach and the focus, it also changes with the different type of questions, right? For example, if I'm asking you a numerical, that's an easy question, right? You know the concept, you know the numerical, solve it, you will get, if you solve the question correctly, you will get the correct answer, done. But if I ask you 4 statements and the question is which of these statements are correct, okay, which of these statements are correct, 1, 2, 3, 4, how many are correct, then that means you have to read that chapter line by line, okay, not maybe in very depth, but you have to know the every concept that is there in chapter. Even if you don't know the one statement from that, it is likely that you will not be able to get that question, right? So if there are multiple questions, if there are questions where multiple statements, you know, correct, then you have to read the concept line by line very thoroughly, which we have been telling you that nowadays JEE Main is asking question from the surface also, right? From the surface, as in not from the surface chemistry. From the surface means not very deep. So just for example, they will take some concept from environmental chemistry, they will give you 3-4 statement, which of these are correct or incorrect, right? So let us dive into that. So yeah, in JEE Main, the main 3 categories of questions were single concept question. There is one formula, one concept, they will ask a question. Mixed concepts of a single chapter, right? Mixed concept of a single chapter. For example, we might ask you a question about the bond angle in some molecule. So now this question is from Vesper theory and from the bond angle also, okay? Then mixed concepts of multiple chapters. For example, we can ask Gibbs energy of a galvanic cell. So this is a question belonging to electrochemistry as well as thermodynamics, right? So if you know about Gibbs energy but you did not study galvanic cell, you will not be able to get that question. Or if you study galvanic cell very nicely but you forgot to go through the what is the formula of Gibbs energy, then it's very less likely you will be able to get that question, okay? So actually this category C makes the questions difficult, right? What if you have prepared one chapter and the other you did not? So you will not get that question, right? So basically whatever you prepare, okay, do not prepare 100%, do not try to prepare 100% if you do not have the time. But whatever you prepare, it sounds simple guys, but whatever you prepare it very thoroughly. बहुत अच्छे से तैयार करना है, जो भी prepare करना है बहुत अच्छे से prepare करना है, ठीक है? Chemical bonding उठाया, पूरा अच्छे से तैयार करो, right? Okay, solutions उठाए हैं, Raoult's law, Henry's law, colligative properties, Van 't Hoff factor, you know, reverse osmosis, all these topics, go through them very nicely. Even if you are able to complete 70-80% chapters, that's absolutely fine, right? If 100, nothing better than that. So these were some new styles which were observed. So statement type question, there are 2 statement 1 and 2, both are correct, both are incorrect, one correct, another incorrect. Multi-statement, as I said, there were more than one statement. The question was which are correct or which are not, right? Then matrix type, you know, matching A, B, C, D, P, Q, R, S, like that. Assertion reason, there is one statement which is the assertion, there is another statement which is the reason, and you have to explain if reason correctly explains the assertion. So I'll tell you the short trick, right? The finest way of doing such question, if this is assertion, right, and this is reason, put because, right? Put because. Is that clear? Right? Read the assertion, then put because and read the reason. If it sounds fine, then yes, the reason is the correct explanation of assertion, right? If it does not sound fine, then the option is maybe that both statements are correct but not the correct explanation. And of course, before that you will check the validity of assertion and reason individually. Check if assertion is correct, check if reason is correct. If both are correct, then put a because between them, right? Because, and then read the entire, right? Assertion, because, reason. Okay, so put because and then figure out if it is making sense or not. If it is making sense, that means yes, a reason correctly explains the assertion. Then incorrect type. Okay, very cheap way to test the focus of students, the aspirants. So normally what happens when you are giving questions, right, and they say what is correct, what is incorrect, so we see, okay, correct hi pucha hoga, what they would have asked, they would have asked the number of correct statement, but sometimes they ask how many are incorrect. Okay, how many are incorrect? That means now you read the question, if it makes sense, forget it. If it does not make sense, then remember that statement, because that is going to be your answer. Okay, normally we have a, these examination, we have a tendency we have focus on what is correct, because that is our answer. Nobody wants to do incorrect, right? But in these questions, the wrong is your answer, right? The wrong is your answer. So read the statement. If it makes sense, forget this. If it does not make sense, then remember it. This is going to be your answer, right? Then how many are correct? As I said, multi-statement, right? Then how many are correct? Okay, so these were some new type of questions. So what you will take from this is, for a statement type question, multi-statement type question, assertion, reason, incorrect type, how many correct, for all these questions, guys, you will have to not only focus on the most important topics, but everything else about that topic also, right? So just read every topic very thoroughly, not just focus on the important part, because in a statement type, how many correct, they generally ask some lesser known concepts. So yes, now you can see that with time, the number of types of these questions is increasing in JEE Main. Now they're asking the statement type of question, multi-statement, matrix, assertion, reason, incorrect type, how many correct. Okay, so one thing is, if you're solving a numerical, of course you have to be focused and correct. Okay, but if you're solving such type of question, no, just read the question twice. Okay, read the question twice, read every statement. Okay, use marking, that if a statement is correct, okay, mark this is your correct answer. If this is incorrect, forget it. Or if it is about incorrect type, then if it is correct, forget it. If it is incorrect, then count it. Okay, so read the question twice. Whenever you select the answer, no, just go through it once more quickly, right, to see if you have selected the correct choices or not according to you, right? So this you can see that on an average there were like 5 to 10 questions around were from these types of pattern, and the remaining question were simple, one correct type answer. Okay, then numerical weightage. Numerical just does not mean ki you have to solve some mathematical equation and find an answer. Numerical means the answer is an integer or any other digit. For example, I can ask you, how many 90-degree bond angles are there in BRF5, right? Numerical answer based questions. So here the answer will be 0, because lone pair bond pair repulsion will decrease the bond angles to less than 90. So numerical answer based questions, meaning the answer is not a text, right? Not alphabetic, it's numerical answer. So of course, naturally, physical chemistry, maximum question will be from numerical type, and then again they ask some question from inorganic, some from organic. In organic, you have a POC question, practical organic chemistry, percentage of different elements present in a compound. In inorganic chemistry, they ask question like this. They will give you 4 or 5 molecules, how many of them are paramagnetic, how many of them have odd electrons, how many of them have bond order of 2, questions like these. So these are also considered numerical, right? And they are easy, right? And they are easy if you know the concept, right? So top 12 chapters of chemistry, I will also discuss them, don't worry, I will discuss them. So solutions, chemical kinetics, basic concepts of chemistry, electrochemistry, thermodynamics, right? You may not get direct question, but you see entropy, Gibbs energy, enthalpy is something which is used in other parts of the chapter, chemistry also. And thermodynamics, it will also benefit you in physics. You guys know that, right? So then equilibrium, coordination compounds, structure of atom, redox reaction, p block elements, and GOC. So this is one list based on the data, right? But I will also tell you a general list of the topics which you must cover first, and that you will be able to do completely. Here we have given you what are the chapters, but now I will show you what are the topics you should cover first. So before diving into that, let us see the range, right? I think some student was asking, so what is the range of scores in a single session? Of course, this is from the last year only, right? For this year, JEE, the session 2 is yet to happen. After that only, we will be able to tell, right, exactly at what marks, what percentile, in what score range, what percentile would be obtained, okay? So yes, starting from 165 to 206, a student could get 99 percentile, right? And starting from 152 to 188, a student could get 98.5 percentile, okay? So you observe from out of 300, right? Even if you score 50%, 150, you are likely to get around 98.5 or above percentile, right? So let us be a little more restricted, right? And if you score approximately 180, then you will be in 99 percentile, which is a very good score, right? Which is a very, very good score. So this is the range of score, guys. Pause this video, okay, and then go through this and just figure out how many marks did you score, what is the percentile you scored this in this session, right? And what is your target for the next session, right? And according to that, you will be able to find out how many marks you need to set a goal for, okay, right? For example, if you are in 95 percentile range, this is the marks, corresponding marks for that, right? So if you want to move to 99 percentile, then from 100, you will have to make a change of 100 and approximately 50 marks, right? So approximately 50 marks means roughly 12 to 13 questions you have to get more correctly, or roughly you can say 3-4 questions per subject, right? So now these are the topics which I was talking about in the beginning of this video, right? So these are the topics, guys, which you have to cover first, okay? And trust me, I have not tried to fool you by giving entire chapters, all of them, right? Some of them are entire chapters, because in general organic chemistry and hydrocarbons, you cannot just decide that one topic is important, right? They are important in general. But yes, these are the topics which you should start revising or covering right away, and make a target that in February, right? In February, in the remaining 2 weeks, you are able to do these all the topics, right? So concentration terms, yes, molarity, etc. Bohr's model of atom, not only in chemistry but also in physics. Quantum numbers and electronic configuration. Many questions from DNF block are also from electronic configuration, right? They generally ask the number of electrons in s orbital, f orbital, you know, from f block elements. Then whisper theory, yes, the structure of molecules, what are the bond angles, geometry, what is the dipole moment, polar or non-polar, right? All of that comes from whisper theory. If you don't know how to draw the shape of a molecule, you cannot tell the bond angles, you cannot tell the dipole moment, nothing of that, right? Hybridization. It will be helpful to you in coordination compounds. It will help you understand a lot of things. For example, why are alkynes acidic, right? If I ask you a very simple question, why are alkynes acidic? So simple answer, this carbon is sp hybridized, right? When you revise hybridization, you will learn that in sp hybridization, one s orbital, one p orbital, so 1:1, that is 50% s character. Now we know that the electronegativity of an atom is proportional to percentage s character, right? Electronegativity of an atom is proportional to percentage s character. So here 50% s character, more electronegativity means now the delta plus charge on hydrogen will be more, delta minus charge on carbon will be more. So this is why alkynes are acidic. So did you notice, if you understood hybridization, you would quickly realize, you would quickly understand why alkynes are acidic, right? So this is why we emphasize on the fundamentals of chemistry, right? So hybridization, of course, unarguably it is a fundamental concept. कोई argue नहीं कर सकता कि हाँ hybridization छोड़ दो. कोई teacher, no teacher in the world, right? No chemistry teacher in the world will say कि you can skip hybridization, right? As a part of fundamentals. Then molecular orbital theory, ठीक है? Molecular orbital theory भी एक important topic है, guys. इसको cover कर लेना. Molecular orbital theory में normally ask कि bond order क्या है, ठीक है? पैरामैग्नेटिक है, डायमैग्नेटिक है, राइट? क्या नेचर चेंज हुआ है, उस टाइप से, ठीक है? तो इसमें तो हमारा शॉर्टकट भी होता है, राइट? इन एमओटी देयर इज अ शॉर्टकट आल्सो व्हिच सॉल्व्स मेनी क्वेश्चन कि 14 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स पे जो बॉन्ड ऑर्डर है वो 3 है. इफ देयर आर 14 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, बॉन्ड ऑर्डर इज 3. इफ यू ऐड और रिमूव ईच इलेक्ट्रॉन, बॉन्ड ऑर्डर डिक्रीजेस बाय हाफ. तो 13 इलेक्ट्रॉन और 15 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, बॉन्ड ऑर्डर 2.5. 12 electrons or 16 electrons, bond order 2, right? So this shortcut you can use in molecular orbital theory. Then gas laws, Again, ideal gas equation, Boyle's law, there may not be a direct question, but remember, in many questions in chemistry, we use pressure, volume, temperature. In thermodynamics, we use, for example, Geldt-Hulse and Dumas method. Do you guys remember in practical organic chemistry, in the estimation of nitrogen, there are two important methods, right? Geldt-Hulse and Dumas, right? So there we use the pressure, volume and temperature, these kind of concepts, right? Then real gas behavior, yes, Van der Waals equation, compressibility factor. First law of thermodynamics. So by first law, I am talking about how to calculate work done, and remember the expression delta U is Q plus W, delta H is delta U plus delta NGRT. All these equations are given in NCRT. So in first law of thermodynamics, do it, right? Because in enthalpy, it's very important concept. Then simple question based on that. So you would have observed that in JEE Main, they don't ask very difficult questions. They don't ask very difficult questions from enthalpy, entropy or Gibbs energy, right? From enthalpy, how to calculate enthalpy change, first thing, right? Then how to calculate enthalpy change for different types of reactions, right? So I will tell you a shortcut. If combustion enthalpies or bond enthalpies are given, then the enthalpy change in a reaction is simply equal to the enthalpies of reactants minus enthalpies of products. But if formation enthalpies are given, then the enthalpy change in a reaction is enthalpies of products minus enthalpies of reactants, right? Very simple, right? Then equilibrium constant wali calculation, ye bhi काफी important hai. Hydrogen peroxide, this is one topic from hydrogen chapter that you must not skip, right? Because you see from H2O2 many questions are asked based on its reaction, based on the concentration, based on the structure of hydrogen peroxide or preparation. तो ये एक important topic है जो आप लोगों को नहीं छोड़ना है, ठीक है? GOC हाइड्रोकार्बन की हम बात कर चुके हैं. कोऑर्डिनेशन कंपाउंड्स में VBT, वैलेंस बॉन्ड थ्योरी. Valence bond theory matlab, if you are given a compound complex, you should be able to tell if it is inner orbital, outer orbital, what is the hybridization, what is the molecular geometry, right? So all these things you will easily be able to tell if you remember hybridization. अगर तुम्हें hybridization याद है तो तुम VBT coordination compound की बहुत आसानी से समझोगे, right? ये चीज याद रखना. Coming to solid state, guys, ये दो टॉपिक सबसे पहले कर लेना. डेंसिटी ऑफ यूनिट सेल, ठीक है, यूनिट सेल की डेंसिटी और उससे रिलेटेड कैलकुलेशंस, और जो हमारे वॉइड्स होते हैं, ठीक है, यू गाइस नो 4 तरह के वॉइड्स होते हैं. ट्रायंगुलर वॉइड्स, राइट, देन टेट्राहेड्रल वॉइड्स, ऑक्टाहेड्रल वॉइड्स एंड क्यूबिक वॉइड्स, राइट. इनमें भी अगर तुम्हारे पास टाइम कम है तो टेट्राहेड्रल एंड ऑक्टाहेड्रल वॉइड सबसे पहले पूरे करना. टेट्राहेड्रल एंड ऑक्टाहेड्रल वॉइड जो सबसे पहले पूरे करना. फिर सॉलिड स्टेट में सॉल्यूशंस में, सॉलिड स्टेट तो हो गया, सॉल्यूशंस में राउट्स लॉ और कॉलिगेटिव प्रॉपर्टीज. राउट्स लॉ के सिंपल न्यूमेरिकल्स, ठीक है, जो पास्ट ईयर्स के यू सॉल्व दैट, right? Because after analysis it is important what you should do for the next examination, right? Then colligative properties, of course, relative lowering in vapor pressure, depression in freezing point, elevation in boiling point, osmotic pressure, सब simple concepts हैं. They have just 4 formulas for 4 colligative properties, and then they ask different type of question. Galvanic cell and conductivity, right? Galvanic cell में Nernst equation I'm talking about, right? सबसे पहले Nernst equation करना galvanic cell में. Majority of questions they ask from Nernst equation. Conductivity में how to calculate lambda m, kappa, strong, weak का conductivity, that. Chemical kinetics में first order reactions. Yes, in chemical kinetics काफी question guys first order reaction से पूछे जाते हैं, ठीक है. तो सबसे पहले first order reaction का, उसके बाद तुम Arrhenius equation कर सकते हो, ठीक है. After that you can do Arrhenius equation. अब एक चीज यहाँ पे याद रखना guys, please remember one thing, just because sir discussed these are the topics we should cover, so let us skip the remaining. No, these are the topics you should cover first and then go on to the remaining topics, right? Adsorption and colloid, just go through physics option and chemies option, their general properties, और फिर बाद में colloids पढ़ लेना. Colloids में purification के method क्या है, properties क्या है, preparation कैसे करते हैं, classification of colloids क्या है, वो सब. D and F block elements में there are 2 topics if you remember, right? D block element के last में preparation and reactions of potassium permanganate and potassium dichromate, इनको अच्छे से कर लेना, ठीक है. Why? Because there are many reactions in KMnO4 and K2Cr27 which are asked in many different parts of chemistry. For example, redox reactions, right? For example, redox reactions, or in volumetric analysis, or in some basic concepts of chemistry. कोई भी रिएक्शन उठा लेंगे, KMnO4 रिएक्ट करता है नाइट्राइट आयन के साथ, व्हाट आर द प्रोडक्ट्स, बैलेंस करो रिएक्शन को, ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर में कितना चेंज हो रहा है, ठीक है, KMnO4 का अमाउंट इतना है तो नाइट्राइट का अमाउंट कितना होगा. ऑल दीज क्वेश्चंस they become a lot more easier if you know the reaction. So KMnO4 and potassium dichromate, please finish them first, right? And then last, from P block you can remember the oxo acids, right? Nitrogen के oxo acid, phosphorus के oxo acid, sulfur के oxo acid. Many questions are based on these, right? Many questions जो हमारे आते हैं वो इन ऑक्सो एसिड्स की स्ट्रक्चर किसमें फॉस्फोरस के जैसे ऑक्सो एसिड है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, कई बार पूछ लेते हैं कितने फॉस्फोरस, डबल बॉन्ड ऑक्सीजन है, पीएच बॉन्ड है नहीं, कौन रिड्यूसिंग है, ठीक है, लाइक दिस। ये सारी जो हमारी प्रॉपर्टीज है ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट हैं, राइट? नाउ दीज आर सम रिएक्शंस इन ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री विच यू मस्ट नॉट स्किप, राइट? So I'll leave it to you. I'll not discuss each reaction. It's not actually possible. But these are the reactions, guys, जो आप लोगों को मैकेनिज्म के साथ करनी चाहिए ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री में, जैसे फ्री रेडिकल हेलोजिनेशन, कोलवेज इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस, एडिशन ऑफ HX2 एल्कीन्स। यू गाइज नो इसमें मार्कोवनिकोव एडिशन होता है, कार्बोकेटाइन रीअरेंजमेंट होता है, रिंग एक्सपेंशन होता है, ये सब फेवरेट टॉपिक्स होते हैं जेई के, ठीक है? एडिशन ऑफ वाटर, अगेन इसमें कार्बोकेटाइन रीअरेंजमेंट, रिंग एक्सपेंशन, मार्कोवनिकोव एडिशन, फ्रीडल क्राफ्ट एल्काइलेशन, SN1 SN2, राइट? इफ नॉट डायरेक्टली देन इनडायरेक्टली बहुत सारी रिएक्शन जो हम पढ़ते हैं, जैसे विलियमसन ईथर सिंथेसिस हो गया, दैट्स एन एग्जांपल ऑफ SN2, हाइड्रोलिसिस, दैट इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ SN1। तो ये अच्छे से पढ़ना आप लोगों को। एलिमिनेशन रिएक्शन, सब्स्टिट्यूशन न्यूक्लियोफिलिक ऑफ दिस हैलोरीन्स, हाइड्रेशन ऑफ एल्कीन्स टू फॉर्म अल्कोहल्स, कोलवेज रिएक्शन ऑफ फिनॉल्स, रिमर्टिमन रिएक्शन। नेम रिएक्शन सारी याद रखनी है गाइस, ठीक है? ऑर्गेनिक में जितने भी नेम रिएक्शंस है ना, एक लिस्ट बना लेना, अराउंड 30 नेम रिएक्शंस होंगी, ठीक है? तो just write on different sheet of paper on your notebook, right? For example, Rosenman reduction, Etard reaction, okay? Cannizzaro reaction, Rimer-Timon reaction, Kolbe's reaction. These reactions are directly asked, right? तो एक reaction को अलग से एक notes बनाओ, ठीक है? और उनको revise कर लो सारी reaction. Aldol reaction, yes, very important reaction. Nucleophilic acyl substitution, जैसे esterification हो गया, acid acylation हो गया, वो सब चीजें. Gabriel thalidomide, Hoffman bromamide, name reactions, right? So again, these are important reactions. Now if you go to the question papers of chemistry, you will find कि there is not a single topic जिससे question नहीं आया हो, ठीक है? इन सारे topics से जेई में question आते हैं, ठीक है? रफली हर साल question जो इन topics पे हमारे आ जाते हैं, ठीक है? तो these are the topics that you have to cover in organic chemistry, the reactions, okay? So I think that's pretty much for now, guys. If you're watching this video, please note down the important topics and right away start revising them, okay? So the last thing I will say to you guys, all the best for your next attempt. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.